President Trump continues to ramp up calls for Nigeria to do more to protect Christians in that country. Let's take a closer look at the roots of religious tension there. The country is split into three sections, the north largely Muslim and at least partially governed by Sharia law. The middle belt, which is mixed, and the heavily Christian south. Much of the violence against Christians that we've been hearing about takes place in the northeast region of the country at the hands of jihadist groups like Boko Haram, as well as Fulani militias in the central belt and elsewhere. According to the International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law, more than 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year alone. Some 125,000 in the last 16 years, and more than 19,000 churches burned. So let's bring in Congressman Riley Moore, one of the first lawmakers to bring this to national attention. Good to have you on Fox News Sunday.
Shannon, thanks for having me on.
So I know the president has tapped you and Congressman Tom Cole to look into this. Can you tell us anything about how you'll investigate and what options you may give to the president, or what plans he should have for handling this?
Yes, we've already started that investigation, and it's the House Appropriations Committee, and we're working with the other relevant stakeholders in Congress, including the House Foreign Affairs Committee, also working with leadership and their staff as well, to present findings to the president here as soon as we can. And once we have some real ground truth from our perspective, obviously we've been working with the State Department, the NSC as well, and the White House staff, and we're in constant coordination and communication on this issue. But we're going to get to the bottom of this, and obviously the map that you just showed really highlights the tragedy that's going on there, how horrific this is, these killings of these Christians, our brothers and sisters in Christ. But we, and as President Trump has stated, we're going to stop this.
Well, he's talked about potentially boots on the ground there, going in guns a-blazing. But I want to read something from Nigeria's president. He says the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant doesn't reflect our national reality. Religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall always remain so. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. He says the picture we're getting here is not accurate.
You know, unfortunately, that is completely false. I mean, there are states in Nigeria that have blasphemy laws, people who are facing the death penalty right now for blasphemy against Islam. There's a person currently right now who's held in prison for defending himself from attack from a Muslim militant from the Fulani tribe. He defended himself, and he's facing the death penalty. So, no, there's serious persecution happening in Nigeria. I know the president, Tinubu, is in a difficult position in trying to protect his interests there in that country, but they are complicit in this to one degree or another with statements like this.
So the New York Times says it's not just Christians. They say attacks on Muslims in the country often receive far less attention within Nigeria and globally, even though they have also been killed by the tens of thousands, with groups like Boko Haram preying on Muslim communities. So is it fair to say that there are other religious minorities, depending on which section of the country, and you're a minority in that particular section of the country, that they are at threat as well?
Look, there are Muslims that are being killed here, but the deaths that we have been able to garner from the facts on the ground, it's 5 to 1. 5 to 1 Christians versus other minorities, other religious affiliations in that country. Now, there are Shia Muslims there. These terrorists are Sunnis, Salafists, who are doing these attacks. So, of course, the Shias are going to also be targeted in this. But it is 5 to 1 Christians who are being killed in Nigeria.
What can the U.S. do quickly? What should we do? Do we have a role in something that seems to be an internal dispute in a different sovereign country?
I think we absolutely do. Look, we're a Christian nation and a nation that believes in values and virtues of standing up for people who are being persecuted. That designation the president just did, a country of particular concern, unlocks 15 different levers that the president can use against that country, sanctions being one of them, withholding development dollars, restricting financing from international institutions. So there's a lot that could be done there, but the president has put all options on the table, including military kinetic action.
Okay, please keep us updated. We appreciate it as you get to the details on this.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks.